I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
So he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber! Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? It's immediate reaction post-fight show for Jacob Chavez Jr. And oh my God, is this the event of the year? In so many ways, this is gonna be one of my favorite events of 2019. Not for being, the best event, for being one of the most laughable events. That also had a really great co-main event, which we're gonna get to and debate and break down in its entirety because that was a great fight. But the rest of the card, largely, complete laughingstock of an event. Cannot wait to delve into it and to break down it all with you guys. So call in 323-870-4051. Number is right there below on the screen. Call in on Skype Mixed Combat Radio if you're international as well. I want to get your guys' thoughts and opinions about this event because it was one we're going to remember for sure. This is definitely a meme-worthy boxing event. But without further ado, let's get to my co-hosts, Gary and Dallas. Gary, what's up, man? How you doing?
I thought the co-main was fire. I was really happy with the way Hooker looked. I mean, that's not that he blew the guy out in the first round, but he didn't look drained. He looked to have good speed. I was really happy with Hooker. My wife never watches boxing. I told Hooker was fighting, so she watched it. I was really happy about that. I was really positive with Hooker, I thought. And then Chavez. I'm shocked that I'm not shocked. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not shocked at all. No.
Not shocked. First of all, he looked like he was about 210 pounds. He looked about the same size as Usyk, right? Like, that was ridiculous. And then he has his best round. I gave him the fifth round. I don't know if Matt gave it. I gave him the fifth round on my card.
Yeah.
And then he quit. Like, anyone else, you'd be like, what are you doing? But it's Chavez.
It was so funny because like first like 2 rounds happened, right? And like arguably they split them, right? Second round probably went to Chavez. First round went to Jacobs, in my opinion.
I gave them both to Jacobs, but you could give the first to Chavez for sure.
You can give them both to Chavez as well.
Probably.
It's those types of rounds where it's a feel out process, but you can tell that the size of Chavez was instantly playing a factor. The power of Chavez was instantly a factor, and I even though no one's here in my house, metaphorically I was looking around, and everyone was like on Twitter sphere, on boxing Twitter and boxing social media. We're like, what's happening here? Are we seeing another Pirog moment for Daniel Jacobs? Why is Chavez looking this good when the entire lead up to this event has been nothing but pure Chavez moments here? Evading drug tests, missing weight. I mean, literally going through the classic hits here of Chavez Jr.'s career in one fight. And then he had a almost career best performance in a way, maybe you can argue. Like, this is the best Chavez has looked in years. And simultaneously, he finishes it with a complete Chavez classic moment of, nah, I'm done. I broke my hand, broke my nose, something. I'm out of it. This is one of the best events of the year, hands down, because it's a dumpster fire. I know, like, there's a lot of people that are outraged at Chavez, as people should be. Like, Chavez is a complete fuck up that has ruined countless boxing events, has wasted people's money countless times, but keeps being used by the industry. We understand why, because people keep paying for him. But oh my God, this was hilarious to me. I think, like, as a hardcore, like you said, Gary, we're not surprised by this, so it's comedy to me. Like I said, the lead up to this event was pure comedy. Of course, the fight's going to be comedy. Why is anyone really surprised or in shock? They shouldn't be. But I don't fault anyone for being upset at Chavez. You should be. Chavez is a fuck up. Like, be upset at him. But I'm not personally. I'm just laughing at him and laughing at the entire dumpster fire that is this last DAZN card of 2019. Gary.
I wanted to add something. Santiago put in the chat a while back that Gary revoked Eric Molina's.
I wanted to bring that up. Go.
Mexico's revoking Chavez Jr. citizenship. And that's coming too. I don't know legally how that works in Mexico, but he's not welcome back, which brings me to my greater point.
Hold on. Before you jump into there, your greater point. When they cut to Chavez Sr.,
like, you knew something was wrong because he just had his best round and his dad was pissed. It's like, what's going on here?
So good. It was amazing. But back to your greater point. Sorry.
Okay. If Chavez was going to do all of this, if he was going to quit, if he was going to, like, if he didn't care about the fight, because you're not going to see Chavez again, I don't think, after that. Like, this is it for him.
No. Dude, he just sold 10,000 seats in Phoenix.
Look how he quit, bro. Come on. People still haven't forgiven Rigo, and he was getting outclassed.
No, people have forgiven Rigo.
Has he headlined the card since?
No, but he's not the star that Chavez is, so that's a non-starter.
Fine. Maybe.
Not maybe. No, it's true. Come on.
Chavez is going to headline another card ever again.
Yes, he's 32 years old. He 100% headlines the card again.
He's disappeared. I don't know where he goes, Costa Rica, but my point was, if he was going to do this, why didn't he just make weight instead of giving away half his purse, take all of his millions, and just go to Costa Rica? Because
not half, just a third.
It wasn't a $2 million purse where he had to give $1 million away.
I thought it was $3 million.
Still, just $1 million for 5 pounds or 4.5 pounds, whatever it was. Just cut your leg off, take the extra $1 million, and then go to Costa Rica because you have no interest in boxing again. This is it. You're done. I disagree with Matt. I don't think we're ever going to see Chavez in the United States or in Mexico in a relevant fight ever again.
You never added that part. You just said main event. He's 100% going to main event a Impact Network card, a UFC Fight Pass card, a DAZN card again. Dude, he does money. Like, he does business. Yeah, people hate him, but people hate watch him. People, like, Chavez is now, like, for us hardcores, he's now like that joke, that hate watch for us. And for casuals in the Mexican-American or Mexican market, they're still going to latch on because he's a recognizable name. And we know this because this is combat sports. If you're a recognizable name, you are still a draw into your later years. You just are, or way past your prime or viability as a, quote, relevant player. So Chavez Jr. is going to absolutely headline the card. Not saying he deserves it, not saying he should, not saying he's relevant, not saying any of those things. However, I 1000% guarantee you will see a spin from Eddie, from Bob, from someone saying he was beating Jacobs. He was on his way to knocking him out. He was bullying him around. And then Jacobs illegally threw a headbutt and broke his nose or something. They're gonna make up some spin as to why Chavez should be excused from this fight, why he looked great in this, and why he should buy his next one. 100%, Gary. This is boxing. We're getting another Paul brother fight on DAZN. We're 1,000% getting another Chavez Jr. fight on DAZN.
I wish we had more casual. If you're listening to this show, you're hardcore, right? I mean,
yeah, of course.
I wish we had casuals in this chat because I want to know what their take was, right? Because Mexicans have such a proud fighting history, Morales and Chavez,
of course, yes,
and these warriors. I can't see them supporting the guy that just did that. You're right that fighters have 9 lives. But after that, after what he just did, after quitting, like out of the clear blue, I don't know how casual fans are going to, or hardcore fans, I think, are out. But the casual fans are going to say, yeah, I'm going to support that quitter again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't see it.
I can 1,000% see whether or not he goes to PBC, because I know he's aligned with Heyman in some aspect, or
Stays with
DAZN and stays under that umbrella. I mean, he could headline a card with Martinez again in LA at the Forum or at the StubHub and just be there to sell tickets for the casuals. Or if you're, Bob Arum Top Rank, you try to use him with like a Valdez fight. If you're PB or Pichelt, obviously, Pichelt Valdez. If you're PBC, you try to use him with the Leo Santa Cruz fight in LA. Like, you can use him still. Like, he is 100% still usable. And plus, like, yeah, let's talk about the X's and O's. He did look good in this fight. Like, I know that's crazy to, like, have this discussion, but he won, in my opinion, at least 2 rounds in the fight. And, there are sparks of moments where, like, you see that Chavez could be good. If he was dedicated, if he stayed in the gym, he has talent. He does. It's irrefutable that the kid is talented, right? It's that he just doesn't apply himself in any measurable way.
Which is tough. Marvin Hagler had the famous line, "It's tough to get out of bed when you sleep on silk sheets," or something along those lines. Mm-hmm. Well, he's had silk sheets his whole life. So, I mean, the typical motivation that drives people is desperation and poverty, right? Like, that's, I mean, not typical, but for a lot of people, that's what drives them. He never had to experience that, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I agree with you 100%. Fern in the chat saying, yeah, maybe use him to sign autographs. Yeah, who would want his autograph?
Just the junior part out. I'll tell you, everyone.
David Hernandez is more along where I'm thinking is that Benavidez, Chavez Jr. would get people interested. I mean, if you're looking for a way to jumpstart David Benavidez to the casual Mexican market, Chavez Jr. is that guy.
You know what? You're right. Like, that fight makes a lot of sense. And they're probably gonna make it. And like, now because when that happened, when he quit, like, he's done. He's never fighting again. Not in the country. Definitely not in Mexico. If he wants to fight, he might have to go to Costa Rica or something like that. But he's never fighting again in America or Mexico. But you're right. David Benavidez, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Look,
actually.
If Chavez is only done if he wants to be done, right? Because he's a draw, because he is such a name, and honestly, because there's so many matchups that you could theoretically use him to capitalize that name value, right? Like with the David Benavidez or Gilberto Ramirez at 175. There's other people you could use him against. That if he just gets into an 8-week training camp, he can get any fight he wants. Let's just be fucking honest about it. He's not Nicholas Walters, who quit, who wasn't a draw, who maybe was hard to deal with, who just went to Jamaica and smoked weed for the rest of his life.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Nothing wrong with doing the Ricky Williams. Legend. But I think Chavez has a certain lifestyle that he needs to keep up with, whatever that lifestyle is, None of my business. But I can 100% see him getting a major fight either at 168 or 175 in the next 18 months. I mean, when was the Canelo fight? Hold on, let's go back, because that was his last fight, right?
May of 2017.
No, he had a fight in between. That's right. He was fighting the Wilder card.
Yeah, he fought one round, knocked out one round.
Yeah, that was in August of this year. And then he fought in May of 2017. So he had, like a 2-year layoff, basically, since the Alvarez fight?
Yeah.
I expect another year to 2-year layoff, tune-up, big fight. 100%. And Fern is saying Benavidez would KO Chavez. 1,000%. I'm not saying that Chavez would be competitive in any of these fights. I'm not saying that he deserves any of these fights. I'm just saying the business of the sport, he's going to be back in the ring, guys. He's going to be back in our TV, back in our app, our phone, whatever it is, sooner rather than later, in my opinion, because of his drawing power. I mean, he went into a market that's not utilized often, and from what we've heard, has sold quite well. So, and plus his online traffic looked good for this fight. I'm guaranteeing you guys he gets back in there with a relevant name, and we're not going to like it. And we're going to make all the jokes again. He's going to have like a round or two of success against Benavidez and then quit, right? Or get knocked out. And then he does it all over again when he's 38. And then when he's 42. And then when he's 45. And then he retires. Right? I mean, that's my prediction on what happens here.
It's Chavez, so who knows what he does next. My gut reaction was that this is it. We're never going to see him again because that was absurd. Now,
I got you worried. I got you shook.
I also said that about Mike Tyson. Who did he get disqualified against? Was it like Terry Norris's brother? He got disqualified in a fight not long after the Holyfield fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's it. Like, we're done. And then he fought again on pay-per-view and did like 1 million pay-per-view buys. So it didn't matter, right? Like, it's still maybe.
And reminding you, at the time, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, which was in 2002, I want to say, was the biggest pay-per-view of all time at that point in history. So Tyson, way past his expiration date. I mean, Tyson was a champion in what, 88, 87?
87 to 90, and then 87 to 90, and then 95.
So you're talking like 15 years after his title reign, after his prime. Tyson's in there against Lennox Lewis, also past his prime, and they're doing gangbuster numbers, best in history. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, another great example. Like, star power does not fade. It just doesn't. Sorry. So,
and Chavez is still riding off the star power of his dad.
Which is crazy. I've never seen anything like that in sports. Like, we're going to get to Jacobs and talk about Daniel Jacobs in a second, because Daniel Jacobs deserves some credit for how he performed here against a guy that was obviously way bigger than him. In my opinion, cheated and abused every rule in the game, and largely was fighting in a fight that was illegal and was breaking federal law, but that's besides the point. We're going to wait for a later court date to finalize that verdict. But I forgot what I was going to ask, I'll be honest. It's been a long night. I digress because I honestly forget what I was going to ask you, Gary. It's one of those nights. But let's get to Daniel Jacobs then. Where do you expect Daniel Jacobs to go now, Gary? Because, I mean, while he did adapt to the pressure and the power of Chavez, I'll be honest, this was another sort of bad performance from Daniel Jacobs in a long line of kind of mediocre performances from him. How do you expect his 168 run to go?
I don't think it was necessarily a bad performance. I think he was actually surprised on how big Chavez was.
I think so too.
He got in the ring and he had to change things on the fly.
I think he thought he was going to be bigger than Chavez, to be honest. He did not expect that massive size difference.
Chavez looked like a welterweight. I mean, a cruiserweight. Like, I want to talk about him. If he fights again, should he fight as a cruiserweight? Because
Chavez?
ever been a Mexican cruiserweight champion? We know there's been a heavyweight champion now, but has there ever been a Mexican cruiserweight champion? I don't know. I'm sure Santiago has the answer to that, but maybe. I mean, he did look good. Like, he showed some skills. The cruiserweight division is if you're physically strong and you have some skills, and he can carry his power with him, and he stays on the steroids, which he's obviously on, then maybe he can have. I'm not saying he can be a world champ.
Let's get back to Jacobs, because we've been talking about Chavez for a minute here, and he's Chavez. I mean,
I don't think Jacobs necessarily looked bad. I think the first 2 rounds he wanted to figure out how he was going to fight him because he was surprised by the size difference. And then 3rd, 4th round, I thought he handled himself really well. He was outboxing. The difference in the hand speed was obvious. And he got caught by a couple of shots. It was the 5th or the 6th round. How many rounds does this go? Whatever the last round of the fight was, Chavez landed like 2 right hands that seemed to hurt him. But he's also given up 20 pounds to Chavez, right? So it makes sense that those right hands would hurt him. But he took him well. I mean, I was expecting Jacobs to come back out for the next round and stay in control of the fight and just kind of outbox him and it wasn't going to be a barn burner of a fight. Like, I thought it was going to be an all action slugfest where Jacobs got rid of him. I think that changed with the size difference. I was expecting Jacobs to seize control of the fight again after Chavez had his few moments there.
I agree with your assessment of X and O's of the fight 100%. Where do you think Jacobs goes next? Do you think it's Callum Smith? Do you think it's Billy Joe Saunders?
Whichever one Canelo doesn't fight.
You think that's what they just do?
Billy Joe, so I would say Callum Smith.
Who do you take in that fight? I mean, Callum Smith, another guy that just had a sort of a bad performance, in my opinion. I know.
Yeah.
I know you didn't think Jacobs had a bad performance, but I do because it was Chavez. But I mean, back to the point. Who are you picking in that fight? Preliminary pick.
I would lean towards Callum Smith. I'll tell you why, right? Jacobs didn't like being the smaller guy. He's used to being a massive middleweight and being the bigger guy in the ring. Callum Smith would be bigger than Jacobs. So I don't like the way that Jacobs, not that he fought bad, but I don't think that's his comfort zone. And when you're fighting another elite level world-class fighter like Callum Smith, you need to fight your A game. And I don't think Jacobs likes bigger guys. Some guys don't like fighting southpaws. I don't think Jacobs likes fighting bigger guys. I think that favors Callum Smith enough that I would lean towards Callum Smith.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I mean, Daniel Jacobs right now, I think he probably fights Callum Smith next, as you assert. I think Canelo's leaning towards Billy Joe Saunders, and I think Daniel Jacobs has enough technical skill where, I mean, he's far and away the better boxer than Callum Smith. So the size difference, the power difference potentially, should be equaled out partially by the skill set of Daniel Jacobs, plus the speed advantage Jacobs should have, right? Jacobs has some of the best hand speed in that sort of weight range in those divisions. I can see him pulling that one off, to be honest. I can see guys like Billy Joe being far more of an issue for him, a la like Canelo, to be honest.
At 68, you would take Billy Joe to beat him and Caleb Plant, obviously.
Yes, and David Benavidez.
I know. I mean, they could make that fight because he's still advised by Heyman. That's the fight I'd want to see. I think that's a great fight. I don't know who I pick in that fight.
I don't know if he is advised by Heyman.
Is he not advised by Heyman anymore?
I want to say someone told someone on MCR. I don't want to speak because I don't think it was completely on the record. But I don't think so. I could be wrong about that. I could be mixing him up with another Heyman guy that's on DAZN, like Jesse Vargas or Mikey Garcia, which is 100% possible. But I did see Sam Watson at the Sam Watson Jr. at the Mike Garcia Jesse Vargas press conference. So one of them is obviously with Heyman still, but I honestly Jacobs is not with Heyman anymore.
Watson Jr. is the kid that looks exactly like his dad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But digressing from that point. Anything else on Jacobs Chavez? Or you want to get to the real fight of the night? The people's main event.
It's the real fight of the night.
Julio Cesar Martinez defeated Christopher Rosales in the 9th round TKO. And Gary, you were wrong. Suck it.
I would like any of you radio personalities think you want
my
smoke?
moment.
Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yo, the sniper got you in the tower, Gary. That's what that shot was.
I picked Jacobs by stoppage. You picked him on points.
No, but regardless, we got that pick right. You picked Rosales.
I did.
He got battered. And
don't act like he didn't have moments and win rounds.
He won one round.
I had him winning 3.
3?
Let me see if I can still pull my scorecard up. I had him winning the round before they stopped it.
Oh my god.
Chris Maddox did too, by the way. Not that that means anything, but
it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
I gave Rosales the second round, obviously, because he wobbled Martinez, and he landed some good shots. But even right after he hurt Martinez rushed him, battered him to the body. I mean, Martinez was walking him down. I mean, circling around him, picking angles, picking shots, brutalizing the body. I mean, some of the best body work we've seen in all of 2019 in boxing. Martinez largely dominated this fight. It was competitive at the start, for sure. You may think that Rosales had some success late before the stoppage. I don't think so. I think he, may have been trying because he realized, oh shit, this is about to be a stop. I may put more into it. But that wasn't him winning rounds, in my opinion. That was just last ditch effort, if I want to call it that. And Martinez was just, I mean, he's one of those guys that is evolving so fast before our eyes, because he used to be kind of basic in his approach, but his feints improved drastically in this fight. I think his ability to slip in and out of range was a lot better. His ability to dart in and out of range was a lot better. His ability to parry shots was better. His ability to slip shots was better. I mean, his defense was overall just so much better than even the Charlie Edwards fight. Martinez might be the guy to just beat everyone's division, including pound for pound top 10 name Koze Tanaka. Martinez is that good, and he beat Rosales that much, in my opinion. Rosales' face looked completely, I'm not going to say battered and disfigured, but close. I mean, all he was missing was swollen eyes, and we would have said that was one of the worst beatings in all of 2019. The body work alone can probably put it down for that contention. Martinez looked fantastic. And again, he's, in my opinion, the second best guy in the division behind Tanaka. And that fight in the next 12 months needs to happen. Just has to happen.
And I think it will happen. I do. Like, you see these fights happen in the smaller weight classes more often than they do in bigger weight classes. So I think that fight will happen. I think you will get that. I don't know if it'll be in Japan. I don't know if it'll be in the U.S. I don't know where it'll be. But I do think you'll get that fight. No, I agree that Martinez looked sensational.
Yeah.
He did. I was going to say going in, I thought Rosales, I had him winning the first, the second, and the seventh.
I don't disagree with you with the first and the second. The seventh, I need to go back and watch.
Again, it was one of those things that even the first two rounds, I thought Martinez, I thought Rosales was winning the rounds off his jab, setting up the right hand, but you could see he was losing the battle, right?
Yes.
Like, he was winning the battle, winning the round, but he was losing the war. He's saying, okay, he can't keep taking body shots and headshots like this because he's landing well, and he's probably landing more shots, but he's not landing the better shot. He's not landing the shots that he's not going to last 12 rounds going this way. And he needed to change something. He really needed to pick it up. And I think he tried to do it in the seventh round, but he was already too battered. No, I agree that, like, I thought he had success, but he was definitely losing the battle there. He was getting nailed, and I didn't realize he was defensively that bad. I know he had trouble with Edwards, but he had, and I like Martinez. But don't you think at some point at this elite level, don't you have to jab? He doesn't jab at all. Like, I don't know how you beat a master.
No, he does at times.
How many jabs did he throw in that fight? How many did he land? He probably landed less than 10.
You know he does? I mean, he's one of those guys that, like, he'll pressure you, and then because of the pressure, draw that reaction out. And then because you're on the back foot, you're not balanced, you're throwing a shot, and then he's going to slip that, parry it, whatever, and then counter back with the hook. That's what he is predominantly, right? He's that sort of like catch and shoot pressure fighter in a way. Like, that's almost what he is. And plus he has such an awkward movement. Like, he is really awkward. Like, the way he, like, his pause, like his way his hips move in terms of feinting, and the way he sort of just like jolts in like certain directions, it's very awkward movement. And I don't think that gets enough credit. I think people look at him and just see blind aggression. There's a lot of feinting and movement that's not really set up with the jab, but is there to set up angles off of a counter. And then once he has you with that counter, he can follow up with the combination and swarm you. And then you'll back off, let you gain some space, get comfortable again, and then slowly pressure you again, draw that reaction out, boom, slip it, counter, hook, boom, hurt you, and then fall back. I mean, he just rinses and repeats that over and over again. The only way to possibly beat Martinez is either to catch him like Rosales did with a counter mid his combination and hurt him, and then follow up with your own combination, or potentially to get Martinez to go backwards. We've never seen that yet. We don't know what he's like on the back foot.
I was thinking the other way, right? So if you're a counter puncher, you don't want to get caught up in. If you're a counter puncher and you catch lightning in a bottle and you catch him with something perfect, okay, maybe. But you don't want to constantly get in exchanges with that guy.
No. I'm not saying exchanges. No. I think you misunderstood what I'm saying. I'm saying you're looking for that counter shot. You're playing that game. And if you land something that hurts, like Rosales did, you follow up with something. You have to, and then you rinse and repeat that. I'm not saying follow up and look to engage in a war. But follow up with a 3 or 4 piece? Yeah, absolutely. Counter punchers, Gary, don't throw in 3s and 4s. Right. That's what I mean by throw one off, or fire one off. I'm not saying go for broke. I'm saying fire off a actual combination, not just a 1-2, not just a 2. Throw something a little bit more with a little more mustard on it, and then you fall back, get on your bike again, keep setting up that shot, hit it. And then you throw that 3 and 4 piece again. And that will steal rounds. You're going to have to look to steal rounds with this guy who is beating you up.
That's what I'm thinking. Someone's going to have to stay on their feet, on their legs, and just not let him cut the ring off on them. I was thinking, is there a master boxer? Is there a master technician at 112? The only one I could think of was Edwards, and look what he did to Edwards. So that wasn't a good example.
Tanaka's better than Edwards, but
Tanaka doesn't have the foot speed, though.
Yeah, probably.
I would lean towards Tanaka because I think Tanaka is fundamentally excellent. Like I think
you just sound
Tanaka gets hit too, and it's like I don't know. This guy's got special power, right? Usually stalkers, these come forward guys like Margarito. I mean, Margarito had good pop, but he wasn't a one punch guy who was going to break you. This guy can break you quickly, like he did to Edwards. Like. I don't like that he doesn't jab. Like I think at some level at the highest level, that's going to come back and the guy's going to control you with his jab. But I just don't know who that is in the weight class, right? Like
I pick him over the other champions like Moretti and Dalikin. Like I pick him over those champions.
If Nietes was back down in that weight class, I'd pick Nietes. A prime Navarez, I'd probably take a Navarez. A boxer like that. But maybe not. Maybe he would just walk right through them because those guys can't hit.
No, he would walk through them with.
He might.
Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe like an Angel Tito Acosta, a guy that can fire back with power that way, and that it's has the limbs like a Rosales. But no offense to Rosales, Tito has more pop, 100% more pop. Because we did see Martinez get hurt in this fight. Like maybe he is not this indomitable force that can't be stopped. Maybe a guy like Tito Costa who has like 100% knockout ratio in this division and who's also a pretty good boxer too and is developing his own skill. Maybe not the technician, obviously, that Tanaka or even guys like Dalikin or Methylane are, but I can see Tito maybe catching him like Rosales and following up with the combination and hurting him. I could see that. Maybe. But most likely, you either see Tanaka outbox him in a Inoue Donaire-like fight, right? Sort of, it looks that way probably too. Or you see Martinez just steamroll him, and then you see Martinez go up to 115. And that's a whole different ballgame with guys like Estrada, guys like Afe, guys like Roman Gonzalez, Rungsvi if he's still in that division. I mean, those are very interesting fights for Martinez, in my opinion.
Ioka
too, yeah.
115 is really, really loaded.
Yeah.
But so is, 112 is at least really top heavy, the top 5-6 names. I'd like to see him fight all those guys. I'd like to see someone. And I know if I can fight at 112 and I can blow these guys at 112, 115, why wouldn't I go to those where the money fights are? It's only 3 pounds. So I get that. But I'd rather see someone.
There's still some big fights there. There's still some big fights there at 112.
Do you think they have money fights though? I don't like.
Well, look, there's only, I think, maybe 3 fights at 115 that are, quote, money fights for the respective to these divisions, of course, right?
Estrada and Chocolatito.
No, I don't know if Chocolatito's the money fight anymore.
He's still at 15, right?
He's still at 15, but he's fighting in on Monday. We're gonna break down that card probably Sunday, by the way, guys. That New Year's Eve Japan card. Also, another champion in this division. Marete Mithalan is on that card as well. I think he's fighting Akira Higashi. Awesome fight. But we need to see what Roman Gonzalez is like in this division in 2020, in 2019. We need to see that yet.
Who was the third name at 15?
I would put Yaffe because of the UK money.
Okay.
I just because of the UK factor, the Matchroom backing, DAZN backing, that's money. That's automatic money. It's a title. You know, those are the qualities that would make it worth something. But I mean, Koze Tanaka is not an a Inoue or Ryota Murata level star in Japan, but he's a decent level draw in Japan. And a decent level draw in Japan means you're a giant, respective to like a giant star in the U.S., let's be honest. I think Angel Tito Costa is still a pretty good money fight for him. Methalane's not... those aren't really money fights, but they're good fights, I will say that. There are two. Say two.
Do you think a Tito Acosta fight in, let's say, either the small theater in the Garden or the StubHub, do you think that draws a decent number? But it can't headline, right? Like, it would have to be a co-main?
Yeah, probably be a co-main. Yeah. But that's fine. I mean, that's what this division is. Like, you have to understand, like, respective to where these guys are as headliners, these are the money fights for them. Martinez jumping up to 115 and fighting Rungs VI for a bunch of money. While it makes a bunch of money, that's also probably a fight that he doesn't merit at any point right now. Doesn't really make sense right now. I wouldn't really be in favor of it either. And plus, he can still make decent money, especially respective to this division historically, with these names right now, especially Tanaka in Japan. So I see no point in sidestepping that, you know.
That's the only fight really I'm interested in right now. Make it Tanaka before you do 115 or fight anyone else at 112. Unification fight with Tanaka.
Please.
Let's do that. Who would you lean towards that preliminarily? And you're allowed to change your mind. But who?
I'll be honest. You know me, Gary. You've been listening to me, and we've been co-hosts for a while now. I've been low-key a Martinez stan and a Mark for some time now. And Tanaka stan. This is
both those guys.
This is very tough for me. This is not the same, but this is like Spence Crawford for me. Where it's like, why? Why'd I have to pick? Why'd I have to like pick a side here? Luckily, this one doesn't have the political bullshit that goes along with like a Spence Crawford fight, so I don't have to do that. But to actually like pick who's gonna win, man, Martinez is looking so good. Plus that power. That power is so undeniable. That's the thing. He touches people. And it's like the hand of fucking God, as Lou DiBella says, okay? He said the chin of God, but it's the same thing.
That big punches, and that they're usually not big punches. He's a big puncher, and that's a scary combination.
You know, like when it's a weird comparison, but like, you know, when Canelo all of a sudden like was landing shots on Kovalev, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You could just tell there's power behind it. That's Martinez in every single fight with every single punch. It's like, whoa, oh, ooh, ah. And while Tanaka is absolutely battle-tested and proven, Martinez, I think, presents another level of challenge that even the great Tanaka has not seen yet, who's a 3-division world champion. You know? Like, the Tanaka-Kimura fight is arguably one of the best fights of the last 10 years. It just is. That was one of the greatest fights of 2018. I think it was 2018. But Martinez is so much better than Shokamura. It's not even debatable, guys. I'm leaning Martinez, but that's again off of a lot of recency bias, and plus, I mean, Tanaka is not as fresh in the mind. When's the last time Tanaka fought? Like, it's been a while. This is. I every time I see Martinez, I get more and more blown away by the violence that guy produces. And I've said this on Twitter. I want to add this to the show. The way he looks so composed in the ring and so like unbothered. Right? Did you notice that, Gary? Like the way he's just walking forward, his facial like expression is completely unfazed. Like it's like he's bored almost. Like that's how relaxed he is. And then he's just throwing these bombs. Like I've almost never seen anything like Martinez in my life. I just haven't.
I still think he's gonna face someone where if he doesn't jab.
Yes, no, I agree.
Gary Russell Jr.'s little brother. What weight is he? 118 or 115?
I can't believe you're bringing that name right now into this discussion.
I'm just trying to think of guys who would stylistically be a problem for him.
You're thinking like 5 years on the line then, fam.
No, these little guys, I mean, they hit their peak earlier. They
Let's find them in the rankings or box rec. Let's see.
I was looking at Gary Russell, but they're all named Gary Russell.
Gary Antoine or something Russell.
Gary, I don't know which one's which. Gary Russell's brother, Gary Russell. Great name, by the way.
Where are the Gary Russells? Let's find them. Keep talking, Gary. Let me find Gary Russell.
I would, again, like, just looking at it, I want to say Martinez, but I'm still going to pick Tanaka. Tanaka just fought back in August against Jonathan Gonzalez, and he fought earlier, so he'll fight. He's fighting again on New Year's Eve.
Gary Antonio Russell is probably who you're thinking of. And then you have Gary Antoine, I think is how you pronounce that, Russell, who's at super lightweight. Gary Antonio Russell is at bantamweight.
So 118, so he's too big.
He's 16-0 too.
Okay.
Hasn't really fought anyone, but I mean 16-0, 12 knockouts. Time for a step up.
We just assume that he fights just like his brother, but can we see him fight someone decent before?
I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever seen them fight. Like, maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
But most of the time, they're not really televised, those fights. So it's hard to see them. Because Gary Russell's usually on Showtime.
Yeah.
And then Showtime doesn't really air their prelims. So it's extremely hard to watch Gary Russell's brothers all then come up.
I'm just assuming he fights exactly like his older brother.
But again, different division and 2 divisions higher.
Yeah, so that's out.
There's no one at 112. I've been looking, man. There's no one that would fit your description of a slick counter boxer that could keep moving, that could keep him on the outside. No one really fits that description at flyweight, to be honest. I don't think anyone fits that description at super flyweight either. Like there's no one that fits that description from 112 to.
But at 15,
like
there's guys
122.
Like Rung Visai, Palikte, who could return fire and hold their own.
Absolutely. And plus the size advantage those guys would have. I mean, Martinez is not a big guy. He might not even move up to 115, to be honest.
So I'm saying because Rosales look a lot bigger than him, and Rosales says he makes 112 comfortably and doesn't plan on him. So
I'll be honest. I think we're more likely to see Martinez and Tanaka have like a trilogy or 5 fights for the next 10 years. And them just be the rivalry at 112.
You want to hear a name that can beat him? Jesse Bam Rodriguez. You know who that is?
No one knows who that is except you and 5 of his family members.
It's Josh Franco's little brother. He's 19. He's a 108 pounder, but fights at 108 and 112. That's the guy right there. Look, if you haven't seen
Texas, is he from Texas?
He's from San Antonio. He's Josh Franco's little brother.
Yeah,
he's on the verge of fighting for a world title. He's like 11-0, I think. Now, I don't know that he could beat him because he fights kind of the same way, and no one does it as good as Martinez.
Of course, it's a Texas name.
Look at him though. The kid is excellent. But so is Martinez is excellent, and you're not gonna win a firefight with him, right? Like you're gonna have to do something different, unless you think you can catch him with something perfect. But it was like when Barry Bonds was in his prime. Like they would show Barry Bonds' hot zones. Like the whole thing was red, meaning hot, and there was like one little blue zone. But if you miss it by an inch, you put it in his hot zone, he hits it in the second deck, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, don't pitch it there, right? I don't know how you. I don't know how you fight this guy without getting knocked out by him. If you want to box him, he's going to walk through what you throw. If you exchange with him, you're dead, right? So you got to be absolutely perfect for 12 rounds to beat this guy. And like, but I'm still going to take Tanaka because I think Tanaka is more versatile. I think I'm going to be wrong, but like my brain says Tanaka can figure this out. Tanaka's that good. Like Tanaka's a pound for pound guy. He's got the resume. He's got big wins. I would leave Tanaka. Not confidently though.
I feel like that's the safe pick, man. That's why I don't like picking him. You know what I mean? My gut is telling me that doesn't seem right. Like there's something wrong here. And I'll be honest. I
don't know who beat this guy. I know he lost really early in his career, but who the hell beat him?
Let's go. It was his first ever fight, a la B-Hop status.
Yeah.
His name is Joaquin Cruz. He was 5-0 at the time. His opponent was. His opponent's now 12-1-2. Has he fought anyone of note? No, but the rematch later down the line. That's okay. And Martinez beat him up.
When they made that fight, they probably thought they were getting some bum making his pro debut. They probably had no idea what they were facing.
And Joaquin Cruz at the time in the rematch was 9-0.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's not the right sound, but I should have done this. My bad. I apologize. Martinez, the god. Gary, any other thoughts on Martinez Rosales other than you were wrong, I was right, Rob was right, haha.
I kind of knew I was going to be wrong. I like to stay loyal to my guys, and I was big on the Rosales train a year ago, so I stuck with them.
And just want to remind people that we have not seen the Gabriel Rosado fight. That was the walkout fight, and it was not televised.
Okay, I was trying to find it because I had to go. Okay, so they didn't show it.
No, they did not show it. Yo, Rosado must be so pissed.
He's like, first of all, I was supposed to fight Jacobs. You promised me.
Promise me. You said, yeah, we know Chavez is there, but that's not going to happen, mate. Don't worry about it. And then, obviously, it did.
Jacobs opted out of that fight and fought Rosado.
No.
He missed weight by 5 pounds.
No.
Dude, he missed weight by 5. He didn't miss weight by 1 or 2. He missed by 5. I mean, you didn't even try to make the weight. Why should I fight you if you don't want to even try to fight by the rules?
Because there's a million reasons why he should fight him. They're green. And they're nice. And they can buy you things.
Yeah, they can.
It's called cash.
Okay? But what I heard, he paid $13 million for the Canelo fight. So money shouldn't be an issue.
No, money is never an issue. But Gary, you said it on the last show.
I know. It's just
rich people like to get more rich.
I'm tired of people missing weight and then still getting the fights. Like
what's his name? Virgil Ortiz.
Virgil Ortiz made the weight.
I'm sorry. I had to, in place of Rob not being here, I had to make the joke. I'm sorry. Rob, when you're listening back, that one was for you. Back to you, Gary.
Brandon Figueroa fought a guy who missed weight by 4 pounds, and at 122 pounds, 4 pounds is a lot.
And
right?
he went life and death with Julio Cesar.
Like, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, it was more difficult than it had to be because the guy didn't bother making weight. Like, this fight was more difficult than it had to be for Jacobs because Chavez didn't bother making weight.
And both,
as a matter of fact, he did steroids to bulk up and be even bigger.
And both got paid more because of it. That's why they did it, Gary. That's why fighters always take these fights. Usually it's because of the money.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how much more Figueroa got paid.
You got paid. Well, it would be. I think it's at least 25% of your purse.
What would Cejar's purse for that fight? You know what I'm saying?
It was at least 6 figures.
You think so? Man, probably.
Yeah. It was third fight from the top on a pay-per-view. I know. Figueroa was getting paid 6 figures from what I remember. I think it was paid like $200,000.
$225 or $250. Yeah, he got paid a lot.
He got paid a lot, and then let's say another $50,000. Hey, that's $50,000, man. Like
it is, and he hasn't made millions yet, right?
No.
So he can't say no. I'm not taking it. Like Manny Rodriguez has made surprisingly a lot of money. So when Neary didn't make the weight, he's like, I don't need to put myself in that danger. Figueroa hasn't made that kind of money yet. So what's he gonna say? No, I'm gonna turn down not only the additional $50,000, but the $250 I'm guaranteed he has to take it, which is a shame, right? Like that's why there should be an insurance program put in place where you get 60 or 70% of your purse if the other guy misses weight by more than a pound. Now you have a real decision to make. Do you want 60% of your purse, or do you want 100 and fight a guy who's got an unfair advantage? It's up to you. Can we talk about Hooker?
Yes, we can. Obviously, he beat Yoel Perez in the first round. I mean, there's not much to say in this fight. I mean, it lasted 1 round. It was a catch weight. I mean, I really have no comment on... I'll be honest. I have almost no comment on most of these undercard fights because we saw little to nothing in most of them, except for a few, like the Liam Smith and Josh Kelly fight, which I'm just going to shit on. So, Gary, I have really no comment on Maurice Hooker because, like, while he looks good, it's against Yoel Perez. And no offense to Yoel Perez, but, like, not really anyone of note, let's be honest. And Hooker's really good, and he's improved drastically since.
Don't you think he looked like? Doesn't he look physically ill at 140? Like I know, like 140, he thinks he's gonna have a huge natural size advantage, but I don't think it's his best weight because he looked healthy. Like his body, he looked strong. He had hand speed. Like he looked better at 147. Now I know the competition wasn't great. He wasn't fighting Ramirez. He wasn't fighting, Flanagan or a world level fighter. Fighting who he was fighting, but I like the way he looked. Like he didn't look starved.
No, I agree with that assessment that he looked better physically. Side by side comparison, like Robert Easter going up to 140. I don't think he looked that much better at 140 physically, to be honest.
Right.
I thought he looked out of shape in that fight. I mean, to me, he looked like he had a gut in that fight. It was weird. It was like me, a skinny fat guy. Like it was an odd physique there, Easter. While Hooker did just look like he didn't have to cut an extra 5 pounds of weight, and that allowed him to have more water, more energy, and you can tell it probably helped his performance out. I think you just make the extra jump and just go from 144 to 147. Just fuck the catch weights. You don't need these, and plus they kind of stall your momentum at 147. Just being honest. So just go up to 147, start taking fights. Like, there's a lot of names at 147. Like, we're doing our MCR official rankings to close out the year. So me and Gary have been doing them. Excuse me. And, we usually talk about 147 being a top-heavy division. It's not anymore, man. That division has sneakily become a stacked division of, like, 30 names, 20 to 30 names that are all, like, really, really good.
And the lightweight division is trash.
So bad. Oh, my God.
Like these guys aren't top 10. Oh, I guess you got to put 10 people in your top 10, so maybe this guy is top 10.
Remember, Gary, top 15s.
I sent over the top 15s.
You already sent yours over?
I sent them to you.
Email?
Yeah. All the way down to 105.
You already sent your list already?
All the way down to 105. I've sent you every weight class.
I'm not done.
Actually, I'll go back and do the first couple from 11 to 15.
And plus, there are some like notable fights coming up that might change some of the rankings. Like if Dubois loses tomorrow, like he falls out of my ranking. But digressing from that, like we should have it up by the end of.
If Dubois loses tomorrow. Yeah, because that's probably gonna happen, right?
It was a joke. I wasn't serious. That's why I threw it out there.
You already have Dubois in your top 15.
Don't worry about it, Gary. Don't worry about it. I honestly don't remember. I'm not done with mine yet. So once we get that done, which we should get done by sometime either Christmas or after Christmas, we should have our official new rankings for MCR. That's been a lot of fun. But digressing back to the point, welterweight, stacked division. Maurice Hooker can easily slot in as like a top 25 name and start taking surprisingly relevant fights in the division with names we kind of know. He should just do that.
Too bad Paulie Malignaggi and Robert Guerrero aren't available to see the measuring.
What do you mean? Guerrero's fighting.
Oh, yeah, Guerrero is fighting again. You're right.
Ew.
All right, Guerrero. Beat Guerrero, and then you can move on.
I can't. That's so sad. Thank God Paulie's not fighting anymore. Thank fucking Christ. Moving on, though. Any other thoughts on Risoker?
No, I just started looking at 47. 44, and I think he should go fight 47 moving forward.
Yeah. Liam Smith fought to a decision against Roberto Garcia in a surprisingly tough fight for the veteran Liam Smith. I mean, this is going to get into like a greater point when we talk about Josh Kelly is why the fuck were these UK fighters on this card? First off, the crowd didn't want these fights. It made no sense. Plus, both guys, in my opinion, underperformed. You add in a 4,000 travel atop of a training camp. Of course, they're not going to perform well. Like, you're putting one of your prize prospects in a position to not perform, to be honest. And we can just probably connect both the Kelly fight and the Liam Smith fight here. Both guys, in my opinion, looked bad. Kelly, in my opinion, looked really bad. I mean, you can tell that he tried to like be more of the aggressor in this fight, put on more of a performance, but it backfired. Like significantly, it backfired. I mean, he was far more hittable in this performance. I felt like his shots weren't being set up at all, not by even feints. Like he was just doing nothing. He was winging these hooks, trying to catch Campos. And Liam Smith was doing a Liam Smith performance, going to the body, life and death in the trenches with Roberto Garcia. I mean, why? Like, in Kelly, I mean, I'm going to chalk it up to the guy has been in a rut, maybe. I highly advise him to change up trainers, change up camps, change up everything. Because obviously, whatever you are doing, you have hit your ceiling doing that. So change it up. You have to. And Liam Smith, I think clearly the writing's on the wall that this guy's getting older and that he's slipping. And having performances like this against guys like Roberto Garcia are a sign that you're not the former WBO champion anymore, probably. And again, both guys should have been in the UK fighting in front of their fans. Like they probably would have had better performances. The crowd would have enjoyed it better. Overall, just really bad matchmaking here, and both guys underperformed in drastic ways. Gary?
That fight was at 160, though, right? The Beefy Smith fight was 160?
Yeah.
Is he going to stay there, or was that just a one-time thing?
I don't know. I think regardless.
I think he should go back, and he should go fight the Anthony Fowlers of the world, the Ted Cheesemans of the world. Go fight those guys. It'll sell over there. And if he can win those fights, then maybe we can get you a world level fight again. But he didn't do anything to make me think that he's back at a world level. He did fine. It was a workman type performance. I thought he won like 9 rounds. I mean, and they were killing me. So I had no idea that Roberto Garcia lived in Texas. Like he was born in Mexico, and they kept calling it West Laco. And it was.
How's it pronounced, Gary?
Westlaco.
Okay, thank you.
And they were saying it like it was 2 words, like West Laco. It's like it's not even close. It's Westlaco. It's where the Figueroas are from. It's where Eric Molina's from too. It's a small town, but it's a border town.
Produces champions.
It's got a boxing gym on every corner, right? Like that's what they do, and I don't know. That was driving me nuts. It's one of those things. Like if you ever meet someone from Massachusetts and you say Westchester, it's like it's Westchester. Well, I can't say that, but there's enough fighters who are from there. Westlaco, not Westlaco. It's not even spelled like that.
Back to the fight, Gary. We get your Texas beef with the DAZN commentary, which is overall trash.
It really is. But I don't think Beefy's performance was necessarily terrible. Like, it wasn't impressive. It wasn't a good performance, but I don't think it was like he looked bad in it. It just, I guess he did what he had to do when he got through the fight and he won the rounds. I thought Taylor won the fight. He got the knockdown, which I don't even know. He kind of like pushed him down, but whatever.
That wasn't a knockdown.
What was that?
That was not a knockdown.
In the last round, they didn't score it. They did score a knockdown, right?
They scored it a knockdown, but that was not a knockdown.
I agree. But he lost rounds. It's kind of like the judges had it way too wide, and I think he won. But he looked terrible. That guy's not good. Hooker versus Josh Kelly next. We should do that. Let Hooker. It's a name. We know who he is now in the U.S. Let Hooker beat him up, and go from there. Yeah, that's a good name from the fight at 47. That's his first real fight at 47.
What, Kelly?
Josh Kelly, yeah.
Did you just say he's a name we know him now in the U.S.?
Well, I mean,
you did not just say that about Josh Kelly, did you?
It's a name. I mean, he just fought on a big card in the U.S. Who do you? Okay, so I'm gonna make you the matchmaker for Hooker's first spot at 47. Who would you match him with?
Hold on, I got box rec up here. Hold on, let me go up to the division.
It has to be a makeable fight too.
I understand. Relax. Gosh. For Hooker or Kelly?
For Hooker.
Bray Robinson. Saddam Ali. Those are the names I would put him in there with. You know?
Saddam Ali. Ray Robinson is not that easy of a touch for a first fight.
No, he isn't, but I think Kelly would beat him. And it's a name that we know far more in the U.S. than Josh Kelly.
Saddam Ali. I think that's a good one.
Saddam Ali's a good one, though. I mean, but Saddam Ali's like... He's that name that, like, any prospect or any name that, like, needs a win, go fight Saddam Ali because you're going to win.
Is Leonard Bundu still around? Does that guy still fight?
Who?
Leonard Bundu.
Ooh, no, I don't think he's around.
If he did, that's a good name to beat, too. Because he was a world champ at one point, wasn't he? Or no? Maybe a regular champ?
No.
Bundu never
Thurman was, and Thurman fought him.
Who did Thurman win his belt from? Was it Bundu?
I think. Oh, gosh.
It might have been.
I don't know. Hold on. Rabbit hole of a show here. It's okay. It's a post-fight show, guys. Remember, call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers call in on Skype. Mix Combat Radio. It was the interim regular WBA belt for... No, not the interim regular. Just the interim belt for Leonard Bundu.
Okay.
Then he fought Robert Guerrero for the regular.
Okay.
And it looks like he was just elevated.
Or Floyd retired. Yeah.
Or Guerrero had it. Like, in terms of the regular belt, that wasn't for a vacant belt. Either he had it or Guerrero did. I don't know who had it. I don't know how they had it. But he went from the interim fight with Leonard Bundu for the WBA, and his next fight's Guerrero for the regular belt. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. It's the WBA. It's bullshit. But no, Leonard Bundu, awful name. I do not recommend that one at all. Who else would probably be there? Like a Chris Van Heerden. You know,
and people know who Chris Van Heerden is.
Yeah, in combat sports, absolutely. He beat up Conor McGregor.
Okay, you're right. He did.
In that sparring clip, man. I mean, people still know like Charlie Zelenoff, and what's his name? God, I'm trying to blank here. Who was the guy that sparred Mayweather? That was infamous. Some in the chat.
What the hell was his name?
Some in the chat's gonna remember, guaranteed.
He was an Italian kid too. What the hell was his name?
Anyways,
Give me
digressing.
1 second. No, you can't because this is gonna bother me now. Hang on.
Just type in Floyd Mayweather sparring clip on Google. I guarantee you, it should pop up. Give me a name that, like, once somebody says it.
Spadafora.
God damn.
Total dirtbag of a human being.
Yes, he was.
Like bad.
Digressing though. What else can we talk? Rashad Matty picked up a win against Rock'em Johnson. I mean, the first knockdown was 100% a legit, amazing body shot, lever shot knockdown. Everything after that, I have no idea what we watched in that fight.
The fight was over at the body shot, though, and they should have stopped it there because the guy couldn't stand up straight. So it was like a weeble wobble. You just push him. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing else was a real knockdown, but the guy couldn't stand up anymore.
It was just weird after that. I'll just say that. I'm not saying it was fishy. I'm not saying I'm not saying anything like that. It just looked odd. Like Raheem Johnson and all those knockdowns that followed the first one that was 100% an amazing knockdown body shot. It was just odd. It looked like he wanted to quit, to be honest. It looked like he wanted to be out of there.
But if he wanted to quit, he could have quit because that body shot was gruesome. Like, no one gets up from that, but he got up from it. You know what I'm saying?
You know those... Yeah, but have you ever seen those guys in the gym or in a fight, like, continually just, like, get up, but, like, they're just not in it?
Yeah.
But they get up. Like, there's something in them that tells them, I have to get up. But...
He didn't have to get up. That body shot.
He did not have to get up. That's absolutely true. But he's looking good. Rashid Mahdi, good prospect. You know, obviously very young, but he's a Golden Gloves champion. So interested to see where he goes forward. Also, Raymond Ford pick up a win as well against Francisco Mora.
That guy's got some quick hands.
Yeah, but Francisco Mora's 3-6. So
I know. I'm just, you know.
He looks good. Looks good. Sort of like Omar Juarez. You know, like he looks good.
No one looks that good.
But competition level is very low right now, so it's hard to tell. But he passes the very early eye test for a prospect. I'll say that. I did not see the Denari Lusanov fight though. That was on like a Twitter stream for Matchroom, not on DAZN, not on the YouTube page. So I didn't see it. I know Rob caught it, and like I was busy at the time, but that started like 3:30. So I've not seen the Lusanov fight yet, but he picked up a KO against Alan Sanchez in the 5th round.
Where did he get that stream from? Like MySpace or Snapchat, or where did that come from?
No, it was Matchroom's official Twitter account.
It was okay.
It was just they just had it on their Twitter account streamed, not on YouTube, not through DAZN. Just odd. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand that. It makes no sense. Like you. In the age of streaming, why have one fight on the undercard be on Twitter, but the rest of the card be available, almost all of it, available on YouTube, on both DAZN and Matchroom's accounts, and on actual DAZN.com. And then only the top 2 fights were on DAZN, period. Like, why have one of them be on Twitter on only Matchroom's account? Makes no sense. Stupid. So I have not seen that fight yet. It missed me. So I have to go back and watch that one.
Yellen Yusunov is good.
Yeah, he is good. I saw like a brief highlight of it. I think it was on the telecast. They showed a highlight of it. He got caught with a couple shots. So I'm curious to see what he looked like in the performance. Because he's a guy that he does have up and down moments in terms of how he looks. Like there's moments where I'm really high on him. And I think he could really be a perennial top 15 guy in the division. And there's others I'm thinking, ooh, he's going to be an Olympic washout. That's a high possibility. It goes back and forth. Anything else on the card? That's about it, Gary. Any other thoughts on this card? Remember, guys, call in. I know, Santiago, you press 1, so we're going to go to you. Don't worry about it. But call in, guys, 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers calling on Skype. Gary, any last thoughts on any of these fights on the card?
I really want to get to Santiago. I want to hear what he has to say about the Chavez scenario. This is going to be good.
Santiago in LA. Santi, did you enjoy the event of the year, as I'm calling it?
You definitely got to put it on that list at that point. But let's be frank. Rosado got jobbed. Chavez Jacobs was really the walkout fight, and the main event was Martinez Rosales. Can we all agree on that?
I mean, in our hearts, sure. In reality, no, that's not true. But I love the thought, Santi, that we can like retcon this and make it a great event. Make it a good little Friday night fight card.
Easily. Honestly, like Chavez, like we already know, Canelo and Chavez got switched at birth. Canelo's the real son of the legend. Chavez is fucked up from a fuck up family, and the other family just happened to get lucky.
The sad part is he really can't deny that that's his kid because he does look like him. You know what I mean? Like he can't deny it.
Dude, seeing the camera pan to Chavez Sr., and him just being all by himself at that point, that was so cringeworthy.
And
I swear,
literally shaking his head and yelling at his son. Classic.
Like, I need you guys to like tell me like, who was the bigger disappointment, Adrian Broner or Julio Cesar Chavez in terms of boxing ability?
Oh, Chavez Jr. It has to be, right?
No, Broner. People had high hopes for Broner. People thought Broner was going to be the next Floyd. Chavez.
People had high hopes for Chavez, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was never one of those people. Like, I thought he lost to Vera. Like, I never was one of those guys that thought Chavez was good.
I never really cared about Broner. So, I mean, that's the flip side. Like, I never cared about Broner ever. So
Broner beat Gavin Reese, I want to say, and won a world title. Like, if you look at his first, like, world titles, they were ridiculous. Like, at 130 and 135.
All of his title fights that he won are ridiculous.
He beat Paulie Malignaggi. And Paulie Malignaggi won the title legitimately. He beat Shevchenko, and Shevchenko had the belt for a while. Like, I mean, you might not think of him as a great welterweight, and he wasn't, but he had that title for a while.
Munguia had a title for a while.
Okay, but, like, if you beat Munguia, then you're the legitimate... Well, I know
you're not. Bro, like you know me of this... I'm of this mindset. There's one guy in the division that's the guy. It has to be that way.
Oh, no, I agree with that. But, like...
regardless of sanctioning bodies and classification, there has to be a guy in the division. At no point was Paulie ever the guy in the division. At no point was Broner... At no point was Broner ever the guy in the division. Maybe at 135, you can maybe argue that. But that's pure left eye test, predominantly.
No, he was never the guy with 35. I mean, not... Yeah.
No, it was like... was it the DeMarco win at 135?
Yeah.
That was a big win for him, right? But, I mean... No, he was never the guy. He never beat the guy. He may have beat some champions, like Shevchenko, like Paulie, but those guys were never the guy either. So, doesn't mean much to me. It's like beating Munguia.
Okay, so we'll say he was a Combo champion. That's fine. A world title holder.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. No, of course that. But I'm just saying, like, in terms of like world level, like, our rankings, we're not thinking about the sanction bodies. At no point am I going to the WBO, WBA, or WBC or IBF rankings and seeing what they have. That makes no sense, right? Like, same thing here. Like, Devin Haney, for example, at lightweight for my rankings, is not in my top 5. Why? Because he doesn't beat anyone in the top 10. Why would he be in the top 5? Because he has a belt?
Because you have to put 5 people in the top 5 at lightweight. And
no, I can find. Trust me, Gary. I can find people that are just more established in the division, have more wins in the division, 100%. Sorry. Same thing with Shakur Stevenson. Like, he's not number 1 in the division, even though he might be the best guy in the division. He doesn't beat enough people. Even guys like King Tug have a better resume than Shakur Stevenson. Like, just because you have a belt doesn't mean jack shit.
Gonzalez hadn't beaten anyone, but Joette Gonzalez was a pretty highly regarded. That I thought was good. So I'm not going to come back. I said Gonzalez was good. Gonzalez was going to test Stevenson like never before. Like,
what made Joette Gonzalez such a good guy, good fighter?
Just beating up the guys he was supposed to beat up. I mean, he didn't have any wins. He had one decent win. Who did he fight right before Shakur Stevenson? He had one name you knew. No, I mean,
I'll go check. Hold on, I got time right now tonight. Don't worry. I might stay up and watch the UFC card at 1 a.m. So I got time tonight. Don't worry about that. And Santiago, I know you're still there. Don't worry. We have not forgotten about you. I just want to prove Gary wrong. He fought Manuel Avila.
Okay. I mean, again, it's not a world shattering name, but what was Avila's record? Like, I mean, he was a decent fighter. It was a name we knew we'd seen before, and Gonzalez stopped him, right?
I mean, he beat Rene Alvarado at 126, obviously, and years and years ago.
Joseph Diaz
lost Joseph Diaz. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm saying all Gonzalez did was do what he was supposed to do, but he looked good doing it. And I still think Gonzalez, if he can stay at featherweight, will hold a world title at some point. He'll be a top 10 guy, and he'll get his chance to win a title.
Regardless of that point and that opinion and that hypothesis, Shakur Stevenson has yet to beat anyone in the top 10. Same thing with Devin Haney. So just because of a belt, back to my point here with Broner and who's more disappointing, like Broner never did anything for me to really care, to be honest. Like he beat some guys we kind of knew, in like Paulie and Fazhenko and DeMarco, but I mean, I at no point did I ever think the gimmick was real with Broner.
You didn't?
No, never. Chavez really early. Like we're talking like pre-Vera. Absolutely. You see some of the highlight packages they put together back in the day when he was very young, and plus he's Chavez senior son. Absolutely bought into it, and the fact that he is so disappointing in respective to his father, who is universally regarded as the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, even though maybe not by everyone per se, maybe not universally, but most people. The consensus usually is that Chavez is the best of all time in Mexico.
Santiago, 2 questions. I'm going to flip your question back to you. 135 in their primes. Marquez, Chavez, who you got?
Probably Chavez. Just due to the fact that at 135 in their prime, Chavez did have good boxing skills. He could be a good boxer. He wasn't just a come-forward guy who broke you down. If he had the skill to find your openings.
I got Marquez. Marquez is great.
Yeah, Marquez was on the juice.
It is what it is. And then in your opinion, who is the bigger bust? Who is the bigger disappointment between Junior and Broner?
I've always hated Broner. Like, Matt knows this, like, with a passion. I've always hated Broner. Like, nothing gave me more gratification than seeing him get his ass beat by fucking Marcos Maidana. But the reality is that with everything that Chavez Jr. had going from him, with the name, the legacy, and even the fucking backing that his godfather was the president of the WBC, oh, you cannot imagine how bad everything was. And, the thing is, too, like, it looked like he was progressing. That was the thing, too. He fought at 160. For those who don't probably go that far back, he once fought at 160. He actually was capable of making weight. And then, the beef with Sergio Martinez. Martinez fucking beat the shit out of him for 11 rounds before that 12th round failed rally. And then from there, it just all went to hell. It literally all just went to hell. And we know him as the way he is today, if not, maybe a little worse after this performance. So, yeah, for me, Chavez Jr., with everything he had going for him, literally having the silver spoon in his fucking mouth, he's probably the bigger disappointment because Adrian Broner, yeah, he was seen as, like, Floyd's little brother, but like Matt said, it was a gimmick.
Just a random question, because, you guys, I would say know more about boxing history than I do. Where do you put Salvador Sanchez on the list? You muted yourself, Gary.
Based on his skills, he's the best Mexican fighter ever. Unfortunately, he died when he was like 24, so we never got to even see the best of him. But when I have a Mount Rushmore of boxing, Salvador Sanchez is on that because he's the best Mexican fighter ever. We just didn't get to see his career progress, right? Like, he'd already beaten Zuma Nelson. He had beaten so many guys, and he's just 24.
Yeah, like record like 40-something wins, something like that.
Yeah, when you put his resume up to Marquez's or up to Barrera's or up to Chavez, it's incomplete. You know what I'm saying? Because he died at 24. But Salvador Sanchez was one of the greatest fighters in his, just in that really short prime, one of the greatest fighters ever. And I want to hear what Santiago has to say too.
And Santiago, before you jump in there, also, I mean, when are we going to start talking about Canelo in this conversation as well? Even though he's only 29, 30 years old. But Santi, Sanchez, Canelo, thoughts on them? Where they rank all time against guys like Chavez, Marquez, Barrera, Morales, the greats?
Yeah, no, Gary's right. I mean, there's a catch-22 with Salvador Sanchez because of the car crash and the fact that it was reported that he was already considering retirement by that point when he died. But, yeah, no, I would probably list Salvador Sanchez as the number one fighter that most Mexicans aspired to be at that point in time, too. Chavez is probably having more recognition just because of the longevity, the record. He went 89-0-1 before he suffered his first loss. So, a lot of people probably look at that as like putting him over.
Mm-hmm.
But I personally think that considering that it was known that Salvador Sanchez was considering retirement at that point, I would consider him number one of Mexico's best fighters of all time.
What about Canelo? Where does Canelo rank now, guys? Are we putting him amongst that list?
I mean, he's got to be making his way on that list. It's hard to keep him off of any list, right? Like, I mean, Barrera and Chavez and Marquez fought till they were 40. But if you look at what he's done, how old is Chavez? Canelo now? 28, 29?
29 last time I checked. He might be 30.
29. I mean, it's tough comparing contemporaries, right? Like, but I mean, to be real, yeah, his name has to be right up there. I mean, maybe not Chavez yet, but his career has been better. He's got more quality wins than Salvador Sanchez does. And I'm not knocking Salvador Sanchez, right? It's just the car crash took him out of. Barrera, has he had a better career than Barrera already? I mean, it's worth a discussion. I mean, you could probably argue either side of that.
Gary, thoughts on that? Oh, not Gary. Sorry, Santi.
I'd agree with Gary, especially because you also have to remember that a lot of Barrera's wins came after he moved up to 122. The first boxing after dark was with Morales, and he lost that one, even though it was controversial. And then you had the comeback with Naseem Hamed. But I would say in terms of accomplishments and especially the longevity of it too, I would probably say that Canelo is a little bit more accomplished now than Barrera. Don't knock on them, of course, but you got to put it into context too.
Yeah, I mean, plus, I mean, the weight jumping that Canelo's doing now and beating certain guys. I mean, plus, if he goes on and starts beating guys like Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders and starts sort of cleaning up 168 as well, he's going to jump up a lot of rankings, as Gary says. It's going to be hard to put him up, to keep him off any list going forward because Canelo's just making a case for greatness. Santi, any other thoughts? I know we've been talking. I don't know what else we've talked about. What else you want to talk about? Obviously, Martinez Rosales in some aspect I think you want to talk about.
Oh, handily. I've been waiting for that one. I don't know if either of you guys have been following my conversation with Keith Farley, but seeing Martinez in action, man, was like seeing an anime character just brought back to life. It reminded me of a character named Takashi Sendo, who brought that pressure and was the kind of guy that never took a step back like Martinez. It was impressive to see him work, the body work, and even the way he delivered and executed his punches. The motion was just so, noteworthy to me. And I agree with you that I think that the way to beat a guy like Martinez is that you need to be that guy that can either really land the counters with the 3s and 4s or make him take a back step. And with a guy who brings that kind of pressure, that is a very tall order when you really look at it. You need a guy who can really, really, really make that guy really second guess his decision to come forward.
I agree. I mean, Martinez just looks like a destroyer of all worlds. He's Thanos in boxing. He just touches you, man, and it's done. Easily,
yeah, no, for sure, man. We saw some some smoke. It turned into a fire, and we saw why Charlie Edwards fucking left the division at that point. You know, I look forward to seeing that guy like really start mixing it up with some of the best in that division. And I'm excited, especially for the Cody Tanaka fight, man. Like I know you're obviously like, why? But you know that's a fight you will not like. You're gonna go to the bathroom. You're gonna have everything with you before that first bell even fucking rings at that point. Because, ooh, Nelly, it's gonna be something. And for you, Gary, I would definitely recommend if you ever get the time, look up Hajime no Ippo. Just type in English dub so you get the English translation. It's a great anime, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you see the character Sendo Takashi.
Will do. Real quick, just preliminarily, Tanaka versus Martinez. Who would you pick in that? Who would you lean to?
I'm with Matt, man. Honestly, I feel like he's that guy that just doesn't give a shit, comes forward, you know, and if you really think he can take your punch and brush it off, he's gonna fucking work you over. Like I really need to see Tanaka like have to use a snappy jab to just keep him off balance and show that he can get out of the way, because you give him any kind of space to work, especially if you're against the ropes. I don't know. I think we see a repeat of what we saw tonight. Matt, what do you think of that assessment?
It's possible, man. But then, like with Tanaka, he's on that verge of being like a new way where we consider him pound for pound elite. You know, he's already arguably in the pound for pound top 10. But I mean, this is one of those fights that the winner, without a doubt, should be in everyone's top 10 pound for pound, in my opinion. Whether it's Martinez, whether it's Tanaka. If it's Tanaka and you're beating the boogeyman of Martinez, holy shit. Like, to put this in comparison, I would say Tanaka beating Martinez is vastly, exponentially more impressive than a new way beating Donaire. Am I wrong in that assessment?
I don't think so. I think it's a fair comparison.
Gary? Like, which win would you be more impressed by?
New way beating Donaire or
Tanaka versus Martinez?
I'm more impressed by Tanaka.
Okay, yeah. Okay, good. We're on the same page. Martinez, I mean, he is one of the most perfect pressure fighters we have ever seen. He does need a little more of a setup arsenal, so to speak. I do like that he's added a lot of feints to his game, a lot of movement to his game. But like Gary says, he needs a jab. Like, he needs a really... he needs a key power jab in his arsenal. And even a key, like, quick double jab in his arsenal. He doesn't really have that. And if I'm in his camp, and he's with Eddie Reneso, so I'm assuming he has all the right people around him, watch how Sean Porter has developed over time and take some of those tools. Guys, see him as being a sort of a lighter weight Sean Porter, but having knockout power, to be honest. And he just needs to add a little bit more of a boxing sort of arsenal technique around his game, in my opinion, to really get the full potential of what he could bring into the boxing ring. Because Martinez he's so powerful. Like, in that division, like, it's him or Tito Costa. Like, who packs more power? Honestly, like, it's one or the other. And that type of power in those divisions is just rare. It just is.
Santiago, real briefly. Hajime no Ippo. This is what I'm looking into. This is the guy.
No, it's an anime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is that
just type in Ippo? So IPPO.
Oh, yeah, and the first that pops up is the Wikipedia page. It's Hajime no Ippo.
Yes, that's the anime.
Okay.
That's the anime. You can type in English dub to find the English translations. It's a great way to introduce people to boxing. That's how I got into boxing, Gary. That's how I learned how to throw punches from that anime, and I truly hope you enjoy watching it. I agree with your assessment on the improvements for Martinez, Matt, because add in some dashing speed to help him cut off the ring. He's going to be a very dangerous fighter by the time he even considers moving up to 115.
Santi, brief question. Is the anime kid-friendly? Is this anime kid-friendly?
Yes, it is kid friendly.
Okay.
You can watch it with your kid.
Sure.
There is some blood and stuff, a little bit of cursing, a few inappropriate jokes, but that stuff is blurred out. So obviously watch with discretion, but it is kid friendly. It's a cartoon.
Thank you. Santi, anything else you want to talk about? Josh Kelly being trash?
Maurice Hooker.
Maurice Hooker. Please, someone.
No, man. I mean, at this point, you guys pretty much said the rest about the rest of the card. I mean, honestly, the only real fight was the Martinez Rosales fight. That was the fight that lived up to all our expectations. It made me and Heath think about the anime itself. It's a very surreal thing to enjoy. And, always a pleasure chopping up with you guys. Enjoy the questions you guys gave me. Everybody that's been listening into the show, share, subscribe, hit that like button. Go to their Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, show these guys some little bit of support. Over there in Dallas, it's like 1 o'clock for Gary at this point, so this guy's really the trooper. And that's probably still going to be up for a while just to watch more combat sports. So show these guys a little love. They deserve it.
Yeah, hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. Thank you for the call. Santi, always appreciate it. Gary, before we jump, okay, I do want to talk briefly about the Terrence Crawford interview that was on DAZN. Did you watch it?
I didn't see it. Do I need to go watch it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I won't talk about it, but I will say this: if we get Terrence Crawford versus Patrick Teixeira,
I heard about that
in 2020, we are rioting. Okay, we're grabbing the pitchforks. We're burning down Top Rank's headquarters. Okay. We're burning down any offices, any corporation that ever theorizes or talks about that fight. Fuck that.
Hang on. Let me ask this question. What if Castano fights Teixeira, beats him, and he fights Castano because he's a WBO 147-pound champ? Would you be okay with him fighting Castano?
Sorry, you said a lot right there.
I did. So Teixeira is gonna have to fight Castano.
Yes.
Okay, if Castano beats Teixeira,
Which he would,
would you be okay with Crawford then fighting Castano, right? Because Crawford would have that option.
Look, if we're getting a Crawford versus PBC champion, why the fuck is it Castano?
Because they have to make it. You know what I'm saying?
They don't have to make it.
Well,
No. Look. There's no point talking about that, Gary. There's no point. There's no point. Why even, it's a PBC name. We can't even get unifications at welterweight, let alone 154. And get this. Why the fuck are we talking about Patrick Teixeira, a golden boy name that's a DAZN fighter that last fought on Top Rank on ESPN? Why are we talking about this?
Because if Crawford wanted to move up in weight, he would be the mandatory because of the way WBO.
I understand that. But let's be fucking honest here. This is complete bullshit. I know that Name Redacted brought up this fight as a possibility. I can't believe that those ignorant motherfuckers on that channel brought up this fight as a legitimate option for Crawford. I thought they were stupid before, but holy shit, are they extra stupid. And then hold on, let me finish my rant. And then Bob Arum, I'm assuming, caught whiff of that, Name Redacted show where they were talking about it. And then he goes and says, yeah, that's an option. We could totally do that. I swear to God, I will grab my pitchfork. I will get on a tank, a horse, a cart, whatever. I will go to Vegas and I will riot in the streets. Okay? Now, that is not allowed in our sport. Crawford Teixeira fight. No, I will not allow it.
I think it honestly may happen. So let me ask
you. It won't happen. No. And also, Crawford kind of downplayed the Porter fight. What? What are you doing, Crawford?
Why would he fight Porter when he can fight Teixeira, Matt?
I want to punch the screen.
Well, let me ask you this: if his 2020 was Teixeira, was Porter and Teixeira, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, but that's only because it's Porter.
Okay.
The Teixeira fight, I'm still not okay with.
I think that's his. My honest opinion, I think that's his 2020. I think
that makes no sense.
But it doesn't. But
no, that doesn't happen. No, it doesn't. Even Crawford was like, Teixeira, what the fuck are you talking about? To Chris Mannix.
Okay, I didn't see the interview. I just heard that name was mentioned.
The name's definitely being mentioned by everyone, it seems. Obviously, DAZN's mentioning it because Teixeira's a DAZN fighter. Bob Aaron's mentioning it because they have no options over there. And Name Redacted's mentioning it because they're stupid. But if it's Porter, why the fuck would you take a back step from the welterweight division and go to 154, not a PBC name, a Golden Boy name, that's not really the top guy in the division? No. Like, again, whatever scenario, if you're fighting Teixeira, I am rioting. I'm grabbing something to throw at you. Okay? It will look worse than the scene after the Chavez quitting right here we had in the card. It would look way worse than that. Let me throw bricks into the ring if we get that shit, okay? No, not allowed, Aram. I will find you.
Look, I
have a special set of skills. I will find you, okay? Do not make that fight.
I don't want the fight either, but it would make Crawford a 4-division world champ. Like, it might. You're not going to like it, but it might happen.
Again, we are rioting. I'm leading the riot. Okay?
I don't like the fight either.
Gary, are you going to be there in Vegas with me rioting in the streets if this happens?
I don't admit to things on air.
Allegedly, we'll be rioting. But God, I don't know. You're gonna watch the interview. We're gonna talk about it later. We're gonna head out of here. I mean, what a great event this was in so many ways. So many great memes from this event. Frustrating, surprising, shocking, saddening, and on top of it, had like a fight of the year contender. As the co-main event. Like, this event encapsulates like what boxing is in so many ways, people. Like, I could probably write a 2,000-word article about why this event equals boxing. Why this event is a personification of the sport. But that's maybe another thing for another time. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, on all social media platforms. I hope you guys enjoyed the fights. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Gary.
It was quintessential Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I expect nothing different from Chavez than what we saw today. Again, if you hadn't gotten to watch the Martinez versus Rosales fight, please do yourself a favor and go watch that fight. If you have a friend, tell them to watch that fight. Tell a friend to watch that fight. That fight is well worth the watch. I can be found on all forms of social media at 3D Boxing Blog. From Texas to the world. Thank you. God bless.
And we should be back either sometime tonight with like another late night live fight chat or reaction show to the UFC card, or tomorrow we'll just be live for a Harrison Charlo post fight immediate reaction show like we did tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. Peace.
Fuck that shit. Fuck boxing. Fuck boxing.